Today we're going to have the opportunity to bring a divided Congress together, united in rejecting misguided and unnecessary overreach by the executive branch. In its attempt to regulate basically anything and everything, the Biden administration once again overstepped its boundaries and the waters of the U.S. rule, or WOTUS, as we have heard. And they did this past December. It's the third major change in 8 years. The chairman talked about all the uncertainty. This is the third change in 8 years to the definition of what waters are and what is a subject of federal jurisdiction. And with this comes more uncertainty, more red tape, more government for millions of Americans. It's clear we needed to take action in the face of this burdensome rule. And it's exactly why I introduced the Congressional Review Act resolution of disapproval that we are about to vote on. So let's take a look at the new rule as it's issued by the EPA and the Army Corps of Engineers. President Biden's new WOTUS rule repeals the 2020 Navigable Waters Protection Rule that provided predictability and certainty for our farmers, our ranchers, our miners, our infrastructure workers, home builders, and landowners, such that they can rely on. That 2020 Waters Rule properly implemented the Clean Water Act by protecting America's waterways through coordination and cooperation between the state and the federal government. Who knows their states better than the state regulators? This new definition, however, drastically expands federal jurisdiction over streams, wetlands, and private property at the expense of the states and their citizens. It also adopts a subjective significant nexus test for determining what is and isn't subject to federal regulation under the Clean Water Act. So up to and including dry ditches, that doesn't sound like navigable water to me, that could fill with rain during a storm event, even in the middle of the desert. So to sum it up, the Biden administration WOTUS rule tells states and individuals that the federal government knows best. It is true to form for this administration, so we shouldn't be too surprised. It is also important to note that this is all happening when there's a pending court case at the Supreme Court right now that will make many of these same determinations, but they couldn't wait.
Oh no, friends. More obstacles are now appearing in the way of Democrats in finalizing a deal on the national debt ceiling. But centrist Democrats are working to put together a backup plan to avoid a debt default. Senator Chuck Schumer is calling on all lawmakers to take immediate action. My friends, please make sure that you watch until the end of this video, because I'll be going over the many ways a debt default could affect the American people. Also, this coming Friday, I will be announcing 3 winners for the Walmart gift card giveaway. If you'd like to enter these weekly giveaways, simply click and like several of my videos and then comment below the keyword of each video that you watch. My dear friends, the more videos that you comment on, the greater your chances of winning these giveaways. Now, friends, according to Politico, a group of House Democrats is crafting a fallback plan to avoid an economy rattling debt default. But the White House wants no part of it. The band of moderate Democrats has spent weeks constructing a break-glass deal with centrist Republicans in case the country goes all the way to the brink of the debt ceiling. As the summertime deadline for action approaches, they are worried a prolonged standoff could lead to a fiscal disaster. However, according to 4 lawmakers familiar with the discussions, Biden officials and party leaders see it far differently and are bristling at the attempts at a compromise. The intra-party friction is growing as Washington's debt crisis gets less theoretical and more urgent with each passing week. And the freelancing Democratic centrists may not have helped their cause by getting involved, just as party leaders began seeing a political advantage in the fiscal fight. This is as long as they can keep the responsibility on Speaker Kevin McCarthy to unveil a plan that might pass a GOP-controlled House, with unpopular spending cuts likely to be attached. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer said in a recent interview, "We're gaining ground because of the House Republicans' inability to put together a plan. I'm certainly willing to entertain a mix of things on the budget, but not on the debt ceiling." A White House official said the administration has not spoken to the Problem Solvers Group about this. However, centrist Democrats say they have been made well aware the effort is not likely to win any endorsements from party leaders and have decided to forge ahead anyway. Biden and McCarthy have had zero recent contact on the debt ceiling other than jabs exchanged through the press. Democratic leaders say they'll accept only a clean debt limit bill, but House Republicans insist that would never pass their chamber. Complicating it all, Republican leaders will not yet describe precisely what they want to exchange for the votes to raise the nation's borrowing ceiling. So, dear friends, what are your thoughts on all of this? Please let me know what your thoughts are in the comments section below. Congress's Joint Economic Committee recently released a report detailing the economic repercussions of defaulting on the nation's debt. The report says that a default on the debt would increase costs on everyday necessities, push up the unemployment rate, and disrupt payments on hundreds of federal programs, including Medicare, Social Security, and veterans benefits. If the federal government defaults, the Treasury would only be able to pay debts using existing funds and incoming revenue. Most federal spending goes towards paying for Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, veterans benefits, and the military. The report says that the Social Security pays out about $100 billion each month to beneficiaries, and payments could be in jeopardy unless the debt limit is lifted. The debt limit was reached in January of this year. The federal government ran out of borrowing authority when it reached a $31.39 trillion debt limit on January 19th. Since then, the U.S. Treasury Department has been using extraordinary measures, which are essentially accounting maneuvers, to keep paying all of the country's bills in full and on time. That short-term workaround will end as soon as mid-June, and at some point after that, the nation would default in the debt for the first time ever, unless Congress takes action to raise or suspend the debt limit first. Democratic Senator Martin Heinrich noted that Congress voted on a bipartisan basis to raise the debt limit 3 times during the former president's administration. Democratic Representative Don Beyer said that if the GOP wants to cut the federal spending, there is a path to do that. But he pressed them to keep that separate from addressing the debt limit. Well, my beautiful and most amazing friends, that is the end of my daily stimulus update video for this Tuesday. Thank you, dear friends, for being here every day and for being part of this community. I will be announcing 3 winners this coming Friday for the Walmart gift card giveaway. If you'd like to enter the weekly giveaway, friends, all you have to do is click and like several of my videos, and then comment below the keyword of each video that you watch. The more videos that you comment on, friends, the greater your chances of winning the giveaways. Thank you and have a wonderful and very blessed week.